Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Madhouse here, futures trading in a post-Omicron variant world. Overnight action, pretty zany stuff, in my opinion. Let's come over to the volume profile. Well, can I start with oil? So to be honest with you, last night I decided to try my hand at oil and buy this little open. And you know what? It worked out pretty good for me. I made $50, but then this thing came in British. Okay, so, and that was in the day before when like they had recovered like $4 and then what? So, yeah, the oil market is just a complete mess. Absolutely insane volatility out there and prices continuing to go lower. Really big dichotomy out there because Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan are both saying like, this is going to be like worth $150. But then there's another group of traders that all seem to think that the price is all correct and that is going to go down. And then you've got the OPEC thing going on this week, and I'm sitting here like, okay, so how does that work out? Because the OPEC is obviously going to, want to make sure that price goes up. So how do you sell that one? I don't know. I don't understand it. Oil is oil. S&P 500 had a pretty good recovery yesterday as well. In fact, if we look at the NASDAQ, it completely recovered. But now overnight, when Moderna says, well, we'll probably need another vaccine, beddish. Everything down, not new lows yet, but I think it's possible this session. And the treasuries, meanwhile, well, Mr. Powell yesterday, he said that, hey, we're probably going to need to be careful here. This is a significant risk, was the words I think he used. This is a significant risk. And yeah, look at that, man. Look at that, man. That was just yesterday. And now here in the overnight with the Moderna thing and all that, they are taking off here. They are taking off. Remind me, what was this move right now? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. This was when they thought that maybe they were going to have to impose restrictions in Germany, huh? So above that, it's actually not so crazy. So when we're getting up into like this 132 area, though, kind of start to be like, okay, guys. Meanwhile, 2s and 10s flattening. But 30s and 5s actually steepening, which is quite interesting, which means, by the way, that you're going to be seeing, pretty excessive action in the 5-year. Okay. Already talked about oil. Natural gas. Okay, now natural gas is collapsing because it's not going to be as cold in Europe as we originally anticipated. So we were seeing signs of like a polar vortex and all these sorts of things. Now this could totally change. That's kind of the scary thing. So like natural gas could you can just see these commodities like natural gas and oil, like you just have to realize how inelastic they really are. Like a really small change in the supply or demand of this thing can move price excessive, just absolutely insane amounts. So now gold, you would think that with all of the monetary policy and everything going easy, that gold and silver would be up, but they are not. So that's the one that I can't really sort out in the current landscape. Why gold and silver? But you know what? That's been a pretty significant narrative all year, hasn't it? Gold and silver just don't do quite exactly what we think they should. Copper down. Nothing overnight though. And then we come over to all of these. The dollar is getting creamed here. Isn't that kind of funny? Coronavirus. Oh, let's sell the dollar. Okay. Bitcoin Oops. We're not quite in the end there. There we go. Okay, so Bitcoin recovering the drop kind of over into the weekend and actually trying to extend their gains today. So kind of what are we left with? I think the picture that we're left with is, hey, monetary policy is going to continue to be easy. Yeah, that's what I think they're saying, at least at the moment, and they're kind of all acting accordingly. Now, what can we do here? Well, we have to remember it is the last day of the month, so I'm not necessarily looking to make any huge plays, but maybe we might dip into some of these. There was oil taking a new low, by the way. Ooh, mama. Like I said, it's just crazy. Okay, now this camera needs to be moved a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Shouldn't wear a black shirt. Oh well, whatever. It's fine. And by the way, good morning, Keller. If I didn't already say hello. Now, I haven't been keeping up too well on what the economic news is this week. Let's see here. Doesn't look like we got anything. Oh, we got Chicago PMI today. But nothing for 6:30 news. Is what I was about to say. Nothing for 6:30 news. HPI at the top of the hour, and then Chicago PMI at 7:45. Remember that one is released early to subscribers. 3 minutes earlier, given to MNI subscribers. And Chairman Powell and Yellen will also be speaking at in Congress, right? Man, as already Senate Banking Committee, yeah. Oh, I also got some Fed speakers later in the day, so that kind of, I think, is quite a minefield for us to navigate today, and maybe we just don't want to touch it. We could try trading oil. Look here, I'll pull the micro oil up. Oh, you want to click it? We could buy it right here. I'm really tempted. Oh, look, see, if I had clicked there, I would already be up $10. I'd already be up $10. Oh, no. Oh, wait, 67. 67's not a bad spot either. Why not 67? Nope. I think this is too volatile for me to day trade. I could try swinging it, but at this point it's getting a little too zany. Just too zany. Oil is too unstable. And I tell you what, when I took my trade, I did take a trade in oil. I did it going into the close, and then held through the thing, and then got the overnight. It was looking awfully good. And then I only made $50 out of it. I was like, what the? Can you imagine? That whole thing yesterday being up $4 and thinking like I'm up $4. I'm like, oh man, this is great. And then it came all the way back. What? That's insane. That is. I mean, it's not quite as insane. Granted, when like oil went negative. Okay, that was really insane. But, geez, guys. You were trading NQ and that was easier than oil. I bet. I mean, the thing is I really think that they haven't priced this right. I really think that oil, like even in a worst case scenario, is still worth 70. I trust the Goldman Sachs guys. Maybe I trust them too much because I think that some other people are saying, no, they have more spare capacity than they're saying. But then I'm sitting here like, well, okay, but who cares? They're not going to use it. They want the price of oil to stay high. My voice is cracking because I'm so excited about it, right? I don't know. Like I think a buy there at 67 would not be too bad. I mean, volatility, sure, but you gotta risk money to make money, I guess. Let's see here. Crude has held just above its 200-day simple moving average. You know, on yesterday's movement, I kind of wonder how much of this was like technical trading and stuff. So that's the other thing is look at the cumulative delta on this. Like, that's a big move up. And then look at this one where it completely collapsed. The delta is actually higher. Like, they were buying that the whole time. And now even through here on the overnight, it's like the same people coming in and like trying to buy the dip, I think. So that I don't think I've ever seen in a market that was like trading with so much volatility to have such an excessive divergence between cumulative delta and price. It's kind of weird. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you make of that. Well, they're still kind of hovering just above 67. Now here in the treasuries, on the other hand, now that's interesting that the 10-year for the regular session went that much higher. I'll minimize this extra little oil chart I got here. We kind of got to keep an eye on our treasuries here. Well, there's a big old fat order at 06. That's interesting. And there is some liquidity. Oh, now that's weird. What is going on here in the 10-year? Oh, that's a little weird. So there are 4,000 contracts at 06. There's only 1,900 at 06 half, 1,700 at 07. So really unusually low liquidity in the 10-year, but an unusually large order at 06. Oh, that's tough. I mean, given that it is also very early in the session, is really interesting to me. I don't know if I want to take a trade just off of that. If I was going to take a trade just off of that, I would want to sell 05 half, right? Let's let it do something a little bit. Let it sort itself out. They might be gearing up for something. You know, one of the things that I'm seeing, and this is where I think it gets particularly difficult to do what we do, speculating based on information, is that the headline that moved the markets overnight was Moderna saying that they'll have to develop a new vaccine and that they're working on it. And I'm like, well, they're a freaking vaccine maker. What the hell do you think that they're going to say? You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. Oh, well, I know that we make vaccines and that's how we make money and we're like one of the most shorted names in Wall Street, but don't worry, everything's fine. You don't need us anymore. Come on. Of course they're going to say, yeah, we're going to develop a new vaccine. And then the market flips out about that. And same thing here with oil. Like, we're going to remember in oil, the Biden administration is a very vested interest in seeing oil go down, right? Because that has been really hurting their administration. And then you got these big techs, right? These big techs, they don't want that interest rate to rise. They're absolutely loving this drop in interest rates here. A whole 10 basis points or so. Actually, it's more like 20 basis points, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty crazy stuff. They love it. So what do we have here? We have a situation where large portions of the market have vested interests in things not going well. Am I the only one that sees a problem with that? That doesn't sound to me like something that can last very long. Okay, we're getting a headline here from Iran. Iranian official has told AJ Arabic that Tehran rejects the idea of a temporary agreement in the Vienna talks because it is contrary to the Islamic Republic's best interests. Yeah. So like when I look at this landscape and like the moves that happened last night, I think like I can sort it out and it kind of makes sense, but it's not a sustainable path, I don't think. Like you can't have like a full on decline or bear market in the S&P 500, for instance. That would just be absolutely devastating. You can't keep interest rates low here through 2023 now because of Omicron variant. Inflation would just be out the wazoo. Maybe they try it, but and I don't think that this decline in oil can really be sustained either. So I feel like something has to break, but at what point does it do it? And I'm not so sure that it's going to be today, because today it's like, it's the last day of the month. So maybe if they're going to bounce and decide this isn't actually that big of a deal, maybe they do it. Maybe they do it later in the week. Maybe oil plays around here until OPEC, and then OPEC comes and says something and they go up $10 or something. Bank of England's man. The Bank of England is concerned about the possibility of scarring in the United Kingdom. Yes, that's how I feel. Is my sound working here? I'm not hearing anything from my new squawk, and I think that last one should have heard something. Yeah, I think it is working. We'll just refresh Financial Juice just to be sure. Okay. They had an okay little move there above 67 in oil, but now they're just kind of hanging out there. Oh, look at that. Somebody is absorbing 10,000 contracts buy at 05 half. You know what? If this gets even below 600, I want to buy into that like big time. Because that is very fishy. President Biden tweets congressional Republicans say they care about lowering costs and addressing inflation for the American people. Not a single one backs the Build Back Better plan, a plan that 17 Nobel economists agree will ease long-run inflationary pressure. Okay, I don't buy that at all. I don't think anybody buys that. You think, listen, it's not hard to find 17 shills in this world, okay? How does that decrease inflation? Well, let's search. Maybe we need to search. How Build Back Better decreases inflation. Well, here we go. Statesman.com. Will Biden's Build Back Better plan negatively impact inflation? USA Today has one. Will they? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Washington Monthly. There's one that's saying it straight up will. Okay, what's your argument? Various provisions in the Build Back Better Act are designed to address these problems precisely in one way or another, especially the cost of childcare and prescription drugs. Okay, that's not gonna solve the problem, my boy, my man. Okay. Oh, look, they went down. They pushed through that. Oh, very interesting. And look, the liquidity up there recovered. I don't know about that one, guys. Well, the 30-year barely moved. Okay. Well, we'll cancel that. Crucially, it will do so without even a hint of impacting core inflation. Government spending isn't the cause of increased core inflation anyways, but Build Back entirely. Yeah, see, this is bullshit. To be frank, this is a load of bullshit. Where is the inflation? Where are we having in the inflationary pressures? Okay, it's not the price of prescription drugs and childcare that are causing concerns in the economy about inflation and causing the Federal Reserve to possibly have to, speed up their schedule. Okay, Biden, sorry, that ain't it. This is what a load of crap. Anyway, I didn't turn the lights on. I have to step away here for a second because that just seems so ridiculous to me. These people out there, they think we're stupid or something? I don't get it. You throw out any kind of bullshit you think. As he says, I mean, college education got cheaper when the government started paying for it. Lol, yeah. Oh, man. Let me tell you something. Markets are not very efficient. In the larger scheme of things, they are not that efficient. But you know what is even less efficient than markets? Government. Oh, my gosh. Yep. They're giving us this, the extra tax credit for children, and you get it in a paycheck every time it comes in. I'm like, what? Where did this? I don't need that. Yeah. I'm trying to put it all into 529s. Actually, I need to go and look at that again today because we had a problem with one of the kids, and I think they fixed it. Man, it's just the whole thing is just. And then they're like, oh, the inflation. The reason we're having inflation is because the government needs to do something about childcare and prescription drugs. Oh, okay. Listen, they did something about prescription drugs, and you rescinded it for no reason. But whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It ain't gonna solve all of these other problems, like that. Everybody wants to be paid more now. That the price of food is going up, that the price of used cars is going up. I mean, the price of used cars was okay, that one was crazy, and that led to a lot of excessive inflation. But every single other category in that consumer price inflation report was increasing. Price of energy and oil is going up. This bill isn't going to solve any of that stuff. For them to come in and say, oh, those Republicans, they just want inflation, because they oppose a $3 billion spending plan, and you say that it decreases inflation because it addresses drug prices and childcare. Who do you think you're fooling here? You just throw a headline and expect the media to run with it and everybody's going to believe you? What a load of shit. I'm being super political here, but I mean, it's directly relevant to what we do and what we talk about. And I have yet to see any of this that's going to have any impact. Nada. This is such a weak, man. If you're a Nobel laureate and you say, oh, it's going to decrease inflation because of those two things, if that's really all there is to it, you are dumb. You are really dumb. Solve it, it'll make it worse. government getting involved in education really has been a problem, hasn't it? But yeah, I kind of wonder, like, what do you do about that though? Because I mean, the price of education is a problem, but you know what else is a problem? Not we don't have enough people wanting to become engineers. I mean, man, you become a computer science major, computer engineer, or well, computer engineering in particular, but computer science, which is an engineering degree. It's easy, like finding jobs and making money and everything. Easy. People don't want to do it. It's like, it's too hard. People don't want to do it, the work. So how do you deal with that? Well, they thought, oh, we pay for the school. But that didn't do it though, did it? Really? It just made the schooling more expensive. You'd think that after the government printed $2 trillion in 1 year, then suddenly prices spiked the following year, that people would get it and only have to dig across. Well, but it's, when you're trying to point to where inflation is coming from, it's a much more, I mean, you know that it's a more complicated picture than that, right? Because we're not necessarily going in here and saying like, oh, well, everybody just magically started charging more because the price. No, it was like the price of everything got more expensive, and it was like individual nuanced reasons across the board. And most of them are not things that you would necessarily directly tie to the stimulus. Well, what we could say is that without the stimulus, we should probably be still in a recession somewhat, and we wouldn't have run into the supply chain issues. That could be one thing. That is where my argument is. It seems like Keynesian economics has some merit, but that the way that it was applied in this particular crisis was not done correctly. They only did supply side stimulus, and ergo the demand side isn't able to keep up. Because it's all in there like, oh, well, the reason why the price of used cars is up is because there was a disruption in the production of computer chips, and there was a disruption in people getting those chips from China across sea, and that's why it's going up, and not necessarily because everybody just has more money and so they're charging them more. Just straight off of that, right? Like, there is an argument to be made that you could still be seeing inflation in certain areas, regardless of what the government had done. Like, particularly with used cars, for instance, right? The deal that we're having with cars would still be going on, regardless of anything that the government did, because the virus, the lockdowns themselves hurt the production of those chips, you know? So, really, for us to sort out how much it was the stimulus and stuff is, I don't think we can do it. But at the same time, I don't see how you go through and say, oh yeah, this bill isn't gonna have any, like, it's gonna decrease inflation. Everything is about it is just gonna be good. Are you kidding me? You're gonna increase the budget $3.5 trillion. I mean, that's really, come on. When we did a $1 trillion stimulus, like, that was nuts. It was like, we couldn't believe the number, and all of a sudden they're up to $3 trillion just for like the regular budget. Come on. That's nuts. I think I have my microphone up too high. I'm sorry, guys. How about that? That should be a little bit better. Won't be quite so hot. Well, they're buying back up there after that push through a big iceberg. printing variable is extreme. Yeah, but the decrease in money velocity was extreme too, right? I don't know. I'm still not happy with where my camera is. Hold on. That's a little better. So there was the red book. I'm not 100% sure what we should make of the treasuries here. So there was a major news wire survey. Forex Online. OPEC had pledged to increase production by 400 barrels per day. Total production was 27 million barrels per BBPD. I don't know what that means. 27 million barrels per day. Oil maybe responding to that bouncing. Remember earlier we were talking about going line 67. You'd actually be in an okay spot right now, huh? Should we do it? Should we bring it back over here and be like, okay, now's the time to go long the oil? Well, let's wait for this news at the top of the hour we're going to get here. It's home price stuff, right? No, HPI. That is change in the selling price of single-family homes. Yes. Change in the purchase price of homes with mortgages. Ranked by Freddie and okay. Saw bids in oil? Was that in the oil? And a pretty decent move in cumulative delta wise too. Well, let's see what they do at 68. I don't know. Like the way that it's been moving, they could totally like go up to 68, maybe even 70, and then by the end of the day, completely collapse back down. You know. Okay. So I'm not going to read out all of these numbers. It's all pretty. HPI spot 9 versus 1 spot 2. Composite. Case Schiller composite 20-year HPI. 19 spot 05 versus 19 spot 3 expected. The market doesn't seem to be reacting to it. Good morning, GT. Welcome back. You've been here every day. Well, you were here yesterday. I was like, he's been here every day this week, but it's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday, my boy. I'm thinking with this moving market volatility, you don't even need, well, you never really actually had to look at the charts, right? I'm just saying. This is just a useful reference to look back on. I can't watch everything that happened in oil, so I can go and put a chart on and have the cumulative delta on. Okay, what with this oil? So here's another thing that concerns me about oil. Let's just here. I'll drag it over here. Okay. Okay. So we had a decline. There was an attending decline in cumulative delta. We had a rise. It cumulative delta rose pretty significantly. Now we're having another equally large decline, no change in cumulative delta at all. So it's just the bids are not there. They're like pulling. They're not filling. You're getting rug pulls. When the market orders are not like very indicative of where it goes, that can make scalping for us very, very difficult, right? That's kind of like a warning sign in my book that I want to be careful about trading that thing. I mean, maybe it's different in oil. I'm not too familiar with oil's particular oddities, but when that's happening in treasuries, that is like a really this is historically a weak time. I saw that from somebody else too. Actually on Reddit. So I posted a chart of this on Reddit. People were interested in talking about it. A lot of people, and there was a good number of people on the futures trading subreddit that had kind of done what I had done and tried to catch a runner. But there was one guy that posted this model, and it had like, oh my gosh, it had like 20 different things that it was. Let's just look at it. I just show you, because I was like, I had never quite seen anything like it. And I was kind of like unsure about if it was actually worth anything. So one of the big problems that I've seen with people, like you post a model, like I have a model. Well, I don't want to tell you everything about how it works, because then you just steal the model, right? So then how do I prove to you that like it's useful historically? Well, in my case, you can just see the value that it's spit out the whole time and look at the chart, and it's pretty clear that it has been up until recently. But this one, okay, details of forecast method. Okay, look at this guy. He's doing like a ton of predictive variables, and they're like real things. They're like current GDP, money supply, seasonal tendencies, EIA production. I mean, this is stuff that matters, right? And he's making a forecast, and his forecast, where was it? It looked to me, expected value 69.62. Oh, wasn't he saying crush margins suggests a bit more pulling back before the next leg lower, is what he says. But it's not like what his model says, 69.62. So like your model says the same thing as Goldman Sachs. I don't know. But we're back down to 67 in a while. Models are a great problem as you plug in what you want it to spit out. Well, no, the problem is, do you have a strategy that goes along with that model, and like how did it perform? And then how do I know that you didn't just curve fit it? Especially all of the variables that he was looking at, like those are things that matter, but they might not necessarily tell you how many orders are going to be coming in the next 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Wow. half an hour ago, $31 million was stolen from Monero X Finance on Polygon and Ethereum. Whew. Oh, mama. I don't know. Like, if oil comes back to 67 again? Well, we have to be concerned about it going to another new low, but I'm really kind of wondering if can it really stay below 70? It's kind of funny because all of the information that I have says is bullish for oil, but obviously there's somebody in the oil market that disagrees vehemently, right? The Vanima, I haven't heard of that one. I have to say, like, it's, I don't want to discourage people from using models and everything, but I think that our understanding and the models that we have on these sorts of things are extremely naive still. I think that there's much more to go with that. Well, oh, somebody gave me a real message. Then they gave me a link that I don't know if I want to click. We'll have to look at that later. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I haven't even really noticed the S&P 500. The S&P 500, well, it's been up, but it's kind of been chilling here in the 25 area for a little bit now. Okay, so there they're going again in oil. And let's just see what happens. Well, that wasn't too encouraging. That right there. It's pretty crappy when it can just move 20, 30 ticks on a whim, huh? By the way, the treasuries have been having a hard time holding these prices. Maybe they come back more to where they started the session down here, 24. Okay, so they pushed a little bit lower. Maybe they found a little bit of support there in the 10 area. I know, as I say that, I kind of feel like I'm just kind of throwing things against the wall, because who can really say in oil? Who can really say in oil? The cumulative delta is still buying, so I don't know, man. Twitter says, beginning Tuesday, the company will not allow sharing of private media such as images or videos of private individuals without their consent. Twitter says publishing people's private info is also prohibited under the policy, as is threatening or incentivizing others to do so. Okay, so wait, is that like if I steal your NFT, I'm going to get in trouble by Twitter? I think that's what that really is about. I could be wrong. Maybe it is just about, harassing people, which, in which case, good deal. Okay, well. Is it weird for me to say that I feel like oil is kind of calmed down there? I don't know. I'm going to say that, and it's going to like skyrocket $1 all of a sudden. And I have to say, over here in the treasuries are kind of looking like maybe things are turning risk on again. I don't know. That was a pretty, obviously I'm not trading it because I'm not sure I really have any way of predicting what's going to happen here in the treasury. But there is definitely some big trades going on here, right? I mean, it looks like just a pullback, but there's like been two big buy icebergs involved in that. If you like podcasts, you must listen to Macro Voices. Oh, is that? I think what is that? The what is it called? Macro Hive, or is that their podcast, or is that the one from? What's the other one that I have? Macro Bond Financial, maybe. Oh, here it is. Welcome to Macro Voices. I have that one bookmarked. That's funny. Yeah, there you go. I went and I made a bunch of them, and then I was like, well, I might want to go back and look at those, but I didn't really. I don't know. I don't really have the attention span for it. You know what one of the funniest things about doing this stream is that I don't know if I wasn't streaming, if one of you guys were doing it, say it was Uzi. I love Uzi. He's one of our longest watching viewers, and we tend to see eye to eye, right? But I don't know if I could sit and listen to him. I just don't have the attention span for it. It's only 1 hour. That's a long time for me. Dude, when I'm watching YouTube videos, first of all, I can't really watch a YouTube video and do real work. I only watch a YouTube video when I'm waiting on somebody or something, right? But I'll run it at double speed because it's just too slow. It's what, a 40-minute video? A 40-minute video? Heck no, ain't nobody sticking around for that. 2 times speed, that and the pressure. Yeah, you know what though? That's another thing though, is that I don't think people understand is well, is it that people don't understand? I don't know. It's just, I see it a lot. Beginning traders get caught up in the ego of it. I think that's kind of one of the things that drives them to trading, is they think they're smart, and they think that if they do well in trading, that it's going to prove to the world how smart they are, because they outwitted everybody in the markets. And that's going to be a real detriment to your progress in trading, because as much as you might know and as smart as you are, you're only this teeny tiny little section of the market. Like, the reason we have markets is because none of us can know too much. It's just impossible. Our human brains are just like not capable of it. Our computers are just not capable of it. It's just too much data. How do you find every little piece of information that matters and use that in a model to calculate the exact price that it should be? It's just not possible, right? And so these people that think so highly of themselves, they immediately come in and they think they know what to do, and that they're just gonna smash it at this. And the reality is that trading is effing hard, and that if you come in and you start trading in like your first week, you do really, really well, and you make like $1 million. That's probably like the worst thing that could happen to you, because then you're not going to learn, right? So all of us have to learn things that to really go anywhere in trading. And so what will happen when it comes to like streaming is that I've seen some people that still haven't learned that lesson, and so they get on stream and they're doing well, and then something happens and they don't want to admit it. They want to hide it. They want to hide the ego, and so then they never go through that learning process, and they don't get like the real advantage of running this. So like the real advantage of running the stream is being able to talk to you guys. Because if I do something stupid or there's like something going on that's really important and I really don't understand it, like somebody's going to tell me, and we're going to figure it out eventually. You know what I mean? Because of the stream. But if you just, have the big ego and treat the stream as a big ego trip, then you never get the benefit from it. And even if you're not running a stream, it's still kind of the same thing. Like, I think Uzi has been relatively humble. Like he does really well and we all praise him, but then he's always telling us, well, yeah, but then there's X, Y, and Z thing. That's a problem. Like, he understands that his success doesn't wash out the fact that you can still only know so much about the markets, and you're still very much at its whim, right? Ego is killer we have to be humble. Yeah. I tell you though, really though, I think that the big thing is like the worst thing that can happen to you in trading is start doing well right from the beginning. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to say, oh, that thing that I was doing, it works. And then you're always going to be chasing after that. And the chances are, if you're a beginner, the thing that you are doing probably doesn't actually work. It's probably just you were lucky to be in the right kind of market. You're not even trading today as the opening range is too wide in ZB? Okay. Well, I'm still not sure what I want to do about the treasuries here. It does look like interest rates are rising still. Oil is still kind of stuck in this range here, huh? It is pretty excessive volatility for the trade. Like the treasuries have had elevated volatility and it's been nice, but the volatility that we're seeing today is pretty wild. Pretty wild, let's say. Well, so oil is still just kind of chilling there. We've got the S&P 500. It has been recovering. Obviously, there's a pretty big overnight gap. So we'll have to see if the S&P 500 makes a play for that gap, which would bring us back to something like 4650 roundabouts. So maybe 25 points up. We'll have to watch the open. I'm going to be paying particular attention for any kind of an instant, a strong buy right on the open. Some volume right on the open. Again, we kind of wanted to see that yesterday, and it didn't. Oil will be crazy until the OPEC meeting. Yeah, you're right. Well, like what I'm thinking though, what I'm thinking is, if you're lucky, you can catch one of these big moves down, and maybe these like here at 67, like 67 seems a little crazy to me, don't you think? So maybe they rebalance back up into like 69, 70 area. And if you're lucky, you could bake in a lot of profit, and then you could hold it through the OPEC meeting. And hopefully the OPEC meeting is a really, they cut back on their supply, and oil has a really big move up. And given the it's whatever happens there with that OPEC meeting, it's probably gonna move wild because, like the volatility is already there. Yeah, is it going to be interesting? Well, Scott Adams saying, learning from CNN that Trump didn't trust his own intel agencies about anything while in office, including their domestic motives, makes him look smarter to me. Yeah, you do kind of have to question their motives. Although it kind of sounds to me like he wasn't interested in hearing their reports, and that he didn't really understand the information that they were giving to him. Also, which I think is a little bit of a problem. Yeah, this is a little bit of a move there in oil, but you can see there's like a little bit of resistance in the 67.40 area. Oh, that's an interesting... Okay, Twitter bans sharing images or videos of private individuals without their consent just one day after former CTO Parag Agrawal was named CEO. So we haven't talked about that, but remember yesterday was like, okay, yay, Twitter's getting rid of their CEO, and the stock bought like crazy. Like it was up 10% in the pre-market. Well, then they found out who it was going to be, and that he's basically just as much of an activist, and it went right back down. and actually, from the things that I've been seeing, this Agrawal guy actually sounds like it's worse than the old name of the Twitter CEO's name escapes me at the moment. I'm not in remembering people's names mode right now. Hey, 67.50, not bad. Not bad. Wow. The Utah Highway Patrol is urging drivers to be alert after 4 cars were shot along I-15 between Nephi and Scipio, injuring 2 people. That's crazy. As well as I do, all new Twitter policies will be about defending left-wing politicians and pundits from right-wing independent journalism. These rules won't apply to right. Yeah. Totally. You're totally right. There will be a case where something unsavory about a right-wing politician will come out and be posted on Twitter, and he'll be like, I don't want you guys to post that. And Twitter will be like, too bad. Yeah, if a nude picture of Trump hits Twitter, it will trend for months. Yeah, that would be a perfect example. That would be a good test case for Twitter's new policy, yeah? They post a nude picture of Trump. Trump says, no, I don't, you're not allowed to post that. Well, let's just go back. Let's do a situation that has happened, right? The picture of Mariah Carey, where her face looks like her face is all fat, and it's not a very flattering, the one that I'm talking about, right? And she paid her publicists to erase that picture from the internet, so everybody started posting it more, right? Would Twitter ban you posting that picture? Based on what I just heard about the policy, the answer is that yes, it should be. To which I would reply, no, I don't think that you should be allowed to have that kind of control over it. Does that mean that memes are done on Twitter? No. I don't think it means that they're done, but oh man. Okay, so can you go in and you can say, hey, that's a picture of me, and you put an unflattering meme on it. I don't want that on the internet. You have to take it down. Can they do that? Then it really would be like, that would really suck. Is this moving Twitter? Oh, hold on. Training view. Back up to 55. That's not bad. That last kind of peak though, which has happened in oil since we've been here, was all the way up to 67.80 or so. So that's kind of going to be the spot that they're going to be watching to see what happens. Okay. Yeah, Cyber Monday. Nobody cares. Okay. So we are looking here at the Twitters. Twitter did end the day lower yesterday, but not much movement in the pre-market. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Newsquack is retweeting a tweet by Zero Hedge, and I can't see it because Zero Hedge has me blocked. Zero Hedge made it so that I can't even see their tweets. Because I said true things about the blockchain and they didn't like it. You know what though? Like that particular policy, okay. If that's what he does on day one, what other crazy things are they going to be doing? Where's Donald Trump with his Truth social media thing? That's what still haven't. Well, they're not supposed to release that until like early next year, anyways. But videos and images of people committing crimes, should that be allowed to be posted? Yeah, that seems like such a broad. We need to maybe they have a more elaborated out policy, maybe. Because that doesn't sound like something that's really enforceable, you know? Okay, well, the S&P 500, or not, the 10-year treasury is back to 130 even. The ship got listed on another exchange and is on another, really? Oh, I'm surprised that people are still messing with that thing, man. Usually so the thing that's unique, I think, about this new crop of gamblers, shall we call them, is that their attention span is good. You would think that they'd be really into something for a while, but these cultists, they stick with it. Okay, man. So with the S&P 500 opening, the initial price action was down. I didn't see a really strong churn in cumulative delta. This kind of looks like a buy to me. This is like, okay, high risk trade. Okay, high risk trade. But oil is moving around quite a bit too. But doesn't oil kind of like open up there as well? Santa Claus is not allowing his pictures on Twitter just across the news wires. That would be freaking hilarious. Okay, well, I'm by the way, yesterday, I had that sim trade on in ES and I kept it, and that one worked out. That was like a $500 on micros, but obviously it took a lot of risk to do that one, right? Okay, well, that move in oil just takes it to a new pivot high. So I think that they're going to be targeting that 67.80 now. We'll see where they go from there. obviously it could turn back down on a dime. So this little story that I'm seeing here. This local story. Somebody's just out in the desert shooting at passing cars. That's a pretty wild story. Okay, well, there was a lot of iceberging and all sorts of zaniness going on in the E-mini. I wouldn't say that it was like the instant buy on the open kind of action, but that looks like a very bullish open to me. And we're just gonna let it ride. Let it ride. Let it ride. And there was the bust of 80. Did it bust 80? Only by a tick. Only by a tick, and then it came back down. Yeah, it's a pretty getting pretty big bars here in oil, huh? Floor Trader said he goes in the direction after the first 5-minute break. Probably would. It would probably work okay. You know, there's a lot of momentum taking strategies that, but I don't think that these strategies are really very predictive of which way the S&P 500 is going to go. But what they do is they position you in a way to take risk in an optimal situation to catch a real runner, you know? Because the S&P 500, well, markets in general have a tendency to trend. They do. That's one thing that we all kind of know is a thing, right? Markets have trends. Why is that? If a market is 100% efficient, you would think that there would be trends, right? And so the efficient market hypothesis guys, they say, well, even though the market is efficient, you can still take advantage of trends. And they just trade it that way. But other people went and said, well, that doesn't make much sense. And they kind of went into it. And when they really got into it, they realized, oh, actually the markets aren't very efficient at all. And that's why we get trends. So they peaked there at 80, pretty good. Pulled back quickly. We'll see if they make another run for it or not. S&P 500. Yeah, you did get a good pullback, but it's nothing like too crazy yet. Oh, and then come back to the open. Is this where we add more? Ooh, it's super risky in ES. I'm worried that if that one gets filled, that I'm going to get buried, but well, I'm going to do it anyways. It's just a sim order, right? Well, we got to live a little. I'm going to take it off again at the open. We'll just kind of try and build up a little position here if we can. Oh, look at that. That is a lot of volume trading right there in the 20 area. Okay, little push of the lows of this session. I don't know. Oil seems to be kind of... Yeah, that doesn't look too good. Oh, yeah, look at oil there. Dipping below 30. The S&P trying to dig out now. Oh, man, this is just all over the place, huh? This is like sensory overload right now for me, man. No, I need to kind of step out of it a little bit, huh? The deltas in oil have been mostly positive since we've gotten here. So that's one thing that we should note. S&P 500, I mean, it is down, but nothing disastrous yet. Kind of really just a retracement of the earlier move. Actually, they're kind of holding some of these prices pretty well, in fact. If I do say so. Epton's price says the tick is 700, so there is definitely some program selling involved there, yeah? Oh, look at that, 17. I'll buy that, okay. That is some dip buying right there for sure. This is some pretty big absorption there in that 20 area. Okay, yeah, and both of them. All market, yes, and oil are very much moving in tandem. Treasury market's not really, well, maybe a little bit down, but okay, cool. Got my targets filled there in ES, so make sure I got this thing so I can keep track of my position here a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, +1. Okay. Now they did go out and fill me at the opening price, but then they quickly came back down. So then you have to take another run at it here. It looks like 46.22 might be a problem. I haven't seen a price that's been like like a really strong liquidity hole here yet. Merrick says it believes its COVID-19 antiviral drug will have a similar activity against any new coronavirus variant. Okay. Meanwhile, they all just took a little dive there. And retracing. Awfully fast and turbulent market, man. Oh, geez. You know what? If this resolves to the upside in the S&P 500 because of how crazy it was, it's going to be like a really massive rise. Yeah. Like this volatility is really stressful right now, but if they can get to some certain levels above us, like let's just say another regular session high for now, like if they get back to 46.32, this thing could just take off. No, so far though, bear's not having it, huh? Well, okay, there's a little bit of absorption at the open there, so you see those big numbers? Okay. Okay. Well, oil made a good little take there. It's the little wins, guys, the little wins. Moderna statement and finance, yeah. Yes, we did mention that earlier. But it was the Moderna statement that really hit the markets in the overnight session. Which I kind of feel is unjustified, but you know what? Doesn't matter. If it causes orders, then it causes orders, right? Okay, so that was, oh man, I got so absorbed in that I forgot that the Chicago PMI was coming out here. But the market doesn't seem to be reacting too strongly to it. It was, hold on. Oh, come on, give it to me. Give it to me, baby. 61.8 versus 67.1. So it's not good, but the markets seem to be pressing on anyways. They don't seem to be too concerned about the Chicago PMI here at this point. I guess why would you be? Because really, what is at issue right now is that Omicron variant, right? Look, the treasuries are turned back risk on. That was a really aggressive move there, so they were reacting to it. Okay, another okay win right there from oil, and the S&P 500. I would say that's okay too. But man, the 1 minute bars in the in ES are just like, whew, they're all these dojis next to each other. That's, I mean, it's higher, but man, what a volatile market. I mean, we really haven't seen volatility like this since the pandemic began, I would say. Yeah. Now, by the way, despite the S&P 500 being all over the place, the futures have been buying it the whole time. So do you think that the futures know something, or what's the deal there? I don't know. Like I'm buying the dip here in ES. I don't necessarily know anything, right? I'm sure that that's probably what the rest of them are doing too. Hey, NASDAQ trader, how you doing? Where you been? You got more questions. Okay. Well, I'm a little nervous because sometimes his questions are really good and sometimes I'm just like, what the hell are you thinking about, dude? It's actually a good trait to have, right? Because it means out of the box thinker. Yeah, okay, that's nothing. I thought that was some politically significant stuff Carl Quintilla was tweeting there, but no, I think it's just nonsense. Okay, this by the way, maybe oil developing another little bit of a long trend. It says it's great talking to you again, Seth. Okay, if big traders are buying futures, does that mean they have larger short positions? Not necessarily, Owen. I really can't say. That's why I only just pointed out the fact. The fact is, and you can see it here in the Vista chart most clearly, that since the open, the futures have, the market orders in the futures have been net buy, despite the volatility. Why that is, I don't know. It's not always a hedge. Market orders do have a tendency to, a slight tendency to predict which way it's going. It's a little bit weaker in ES than it is in some other futures, but we just kind of have to see what they do. This is a really. Oh yeah, I forgot Powell and Yellen. Okay, wait. When is that? At the top of the hour. Okay. Well, I think that whatever Powell might say might present an upside risk here. It might be that the treasuries might move really strong off of it. So. How can using order book make informational entries precise and at the same time be not precise enough to constitute an edge? Well, so I think that the issue is that a lot of these things do provide an edge, but the amount of edge that they provide is very, very small, right? So the amount of edge that they provide is not necessarily enough for you to overcome the cost of commissions and your data feed and everything else on its own, right? And there's kind of two parts to it. I'm in my framework, I'm kind of realizing that there's two parts to it. One is understanding what the current order flow conditions are. So like over here in the treasuries, we can see very clearly pretty low liquidity right now, but a big fat order at 06. Okay, those are our current liquidity conditions. Can you use that to kind of sort out how you're going to trade? Yeah, potentially. But then there's also taking the like trying to take the edge or the iceberg or whatever and getting an advantageous entry as well. But it's just, the thing is that as much edge as those two things can provide, they still are not as significant of an edge as just knowing what's going to happen, right? Because all of those things, it's like, if you know what direction it's going to go, if you know what the trend is ahead of time, then it's just amazing and you win every time. But if you don't, then it sucks and you lose every time. So you still need to have the informational edge, I think. Now, could one just trade with just the informational edge? Yeah, I think so. But I think that you would find that you're going to be a lot more consistent if you combine it with the order flow. Looks like the 10s are going to make another run for that big order at 06. Maybe. They're still quite a ways away from it, though. Don't you think? I thought, I had an order sitting there to try and catch the edge if they decided to hit it. But then there was that big iceberg, and I started to go, okay, what's going on here? And then they just totally collapsed. I thought that whole sequence of events was a little interesting because it looks to me like the treasuries are kind of reacting more to what's going on in the tape, wouldn't you say? And the correlations, which is, kind of an interesting position for the treasuries. But it's also kind of a situation where I don't necessarily want to touch them. If they get back up there, I might think about placing that stop limit again. But we'll see. Okay, well, see, by the way, the last pivot high in the oil was 67.49. 67.50, we'll say. So they gonna fight over that. ES hanging in there, yeah. They're making a move for the open again. We could come over here to our volume profile and we go over to the ES, and you look at our 30-minute chart. Okay, there was a 13K both sides at 46.2275. Wait, is that? Oh, I've got this wrong. Hold on a second. Data series. Ticker filter is 4. I don't know why it's that way. Okay, yeah, we're good. So that is, once you get into the 10,000s at multiple prices, that's what we tend to see in buy the dip kind of action. So I would say that it looks like the futures are buying the dip. Now, I'm not saying that that's like guaranteed to predict where it's going to go. Certainly not. It's a positive sign, though. It's been a trade that's worked really well in the post-pandemic era. I think I'm just going to stick with this long here in ES and see what they do. Again, if they get to the high, okay, so they're the oil, you saw them bust that one, and you definitely saw the order book change when they did that. Okay, but here in the E-mini, if they're able to break a new high, this could turn into a really massive trend. Argument could be made that we bounce. Yes. Well, okay, so that's an interesting thing, though, is that, remember, it's the liquidity hole. So seeing a lot of trade going back and forth at a spot can create a hole. But what you're going to see is they're going to trade through that area, and then the liquidity doesn't show up. But that hasn't been what is happening in this case. In this case, they traded a ton in that area, and the latent liquidity just continues to be high. Continues to be high. That's a very different situation, right? And given the amount of volatility that they're having here, that's one that's going to break out to one side or the other, right? So here they are. They're just below the regular session high. They haven't busted it yet. They kind of shied away from it just a little bit. Oil getting some good little spikes higher, but we'll see if they get back up to 67.8, 80 cents, and then what they do there. Yep, they kept sustaining the dip buying for, yeah, exactly. Well, given what the treasuries have been doing, don't you think it makes sense to be trying to buy the dip? Yeah. I mean, if interest rates are going to decline here again, then that means that the buy the dip trade is on again. At least that's kind of what I'm thinking with this trade. But on this one, if I get to 50, then I take it off, right? So the oil had a good move there, but they kind of pulled back a little bit. It's getting volatile again. Almost. Nope. Somebody's there trying to stop them. Somebody's there trying. I don't know if I would be fighting that one. Maybe he wins though. That trying to aggressively sell right here seems like a scary trade to make. I can see how it would work out, but I would not have the balls to make that trade. No way. You have to be like, you ever watch that South Park episode where all of the guys get testicular cancer and because the ladies like it and everything? You'd have to have those to be putting that trade on. Okay, so here's ES. Oh, the ES did break it. They did break it. Okay, but it wasn't. You wouldn't really see like the stop run that you would maybe expect through this, right? There was some absorption and so forth in the 32 area. So, and same with oil. Oil, yeah, good move there through the 70s, but really, when you look at oil, considering some of the things that it did yesterday, where in a minute it would go up a whole dollar, oil has been relatively calm, hasn't it? Powell effect. Well, I do think there's a good chance that Powell is going to come in here and in his opening statement is going to be, and we're going to get it all at once here, right? We're going to get his statement just in a second. So I think that it's very likely to push the treasuries down here. Or sorry, push the treasuries up. Okay, that was consumer confidence too, by the way, which was just slightly under the forecast. 109.5 versus 110.8. Bunch of volatility. Oil comes back down into the 30 area again. S&P 500 down a little bit, but nothing too big. Moving on, I'm trying to sort out how much volume was behind it. It's still kind of, yeah, the market orders are still net buy here. So I'm wondering now if the, if they retrace this quickly enough. I think you'd have to get back up into 50, but yeah, this could be this could slingshot it through because of the inverse square law, right? They just created a hole behind them and they just retraced it. And now, yeah, you could get some people caught on the wrong side of it. But the S&P 500, not necessarily. Well, but I mean, we're in the 30 area, so I would like to see them at 35, you know? I think we're still waiting on Powell stuff, right? But we do get a transcript of his opening statement, so. Okay. That was a good little slip higher in ES. Yeah, Powell effect incoming. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna need a long day of rest and relaxation to recover after this trading session, because I just feel like I'm being overloaded with information like every second. Everything is just moving so much. We're doing pretty okay, mostly because we were able to work in a position that we could let ride really early on, and we are in the right direction. But geez, tick by tick, this thing is just insanity. Okay, here you go, Uzi. Cat turd 2. Attention, since these are the new Twitter rules, all my Trump supporters have my permission to use my image. All liberals and Democrats don't have permission to use my image. Oh man. Oh, is Tesla up? Really? Okay, there's the E-minis. They're making another little. They're making it. Come on. Show me the stops. I'd love to see some stops here. I think that would be so great. Okay, that wasn't there we go. Yeah. Oh, come to Papa. Oh, I love that. I love a stop run like that. That's not the greatest stop run I've ever seen by any means, but I'm liking what they just did there. That was pretty good. Now oil spiked up there on that too, but look, they came back pretty easily. Parabolic, I wouldn't call it parabolic, but it was a pretty good move, huh? This oil, so I'm seeing kind of the same situation in oil, right? Like, it's been a tough road. If oil is able to make it above 67.80, then it could just go bonkers. But somebody's definitely fighting this market. It's been 5,000 net contracts buy since the beginning of the session when they were breaking lows. And it's been a tough battle every step of the way for them. I mean, and to make it $1. I mean, to make it $1 up, but really it's really been more like 50 cents. So I was like 7,000 contracts, 5,000 contracts to make it 50 cents. There's some sell side liquidity on the other side of this for sure. But if they just keep this pressure up, I think that there's reasons to think that maybe oil could just continue to have steady buying pressure. Again, they get above some of these significant levels that have been resistance, 67, 80, between 70 and 80. It could go bonkers. They definitely did a good one in the air. There is another stop run in ES. Look at that one, was nice. There was some retail traders short on that one. Did you see the way that the micros just went zip? Oh yeah, look at that. Shouldn't have done that one on Sim. Did that ever go against me in the ES? Let me pull this up. MES. I had 17 ticks against me. I want to keep my risk to 16 ticks, and yes, it's turning out like that's just not possible anymore. Stop run for sure now, yeah. You know I like a good stop run, boys. Oh, I love a good stop run, especially when they're in my favor. Short covering rally, yes please. And VIX filling gap up, down. Okay. Well, oil is back up to the 70 area again. It's just another little skip. It's just like one guy has to come in and buy 100 contracts and we could be up there, Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, there's above 80. Actually kind of basing out a little bit there. Didn't really see the stop run yet. Okay, 93. I'm noticing there now. That's since this session started, I guess. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. Whee! And now we are back to 68 in oil. I still think there could be 10 points left in this E-mini. I still think they want to close the gap. The gap is going to be to around 46.50. I'm just kind of spitballing it, but you got Nadex call contracts, Lewis? My boy. You know what? You need to send me like a statement. I tell you, I did this thing. I used to do this thing. Or it was like, if you showed me a statement or something like that, we would give you a special flare in Discord. I'm thinking we could do better. Like what if it was, and you don't have to show me like a month, but if you can you give me a statement of a big trade, like a trade that you're proud of, and you sign it. Obviously, you want to black out all your personal information and everything, but sign it and then send it to me, and I can put it on my fridge. That's. Or we could find a spot. We could put them all underneath of the I don't have the marquee running. I didn't even realize. Fix that. We could put them all underneath of the marquee. I think that would be fun, yeah. Yeah. Oh, now, do I have... that's interesting. Oh, but those were from yesterday. Okay. I was looking at my Jigsaw window and I was like, no, I don't remember taking a trade and losing money on the 10-year treasury. I haven't touched it today. It was still showing me yesterday's. 500 to 1 leverage. Oh my man. So wait, how much per contract did you make on that? So far. Sounds like you're still in it. I feel like this market is a market that gets really hard to trade. You have to take a risk on and you can make a lot, but you can lose a lot. But this time around, we've been crushing it. Of course, I haven't gotten something to really go. I mean, I don't know. Yesterday I got, I bought the dip and yes, and it went pretty well, but Jesse Livermore quote here from Bookmap. There is a time to go long and a time to go short and a time to go fishing. Just remember, folks, Jesse Livermore committed suicide. Not so sure that he's the shining example of the trader you want to emulate. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. So, oil there. Good little move, but kind of kind of chilling a little bit. Gonna see what kind of support they can get here now that they kind of busted those key levels. I said, it's gonna go bonkers. I think we got a good stop run, but wouldn't bonkers be more like we'd already be at 69 by now? Yeah, didn't quite do that. So looks like it's still a war zone out there. Users now can't share private info. Yeah, you're talking about Twitter. A word on the street is Germany is going to cast a vote on compulsory vaccinations. Oh, jeez. Yeah, well, that's what we were joking about earlier. I want to go and see what is there a more detailed, guidelines on that sort of a thing, because that sounds like something that you can't enforce. That like every picture of a person you're going to be like, okay, do you have permission? Or maybe it's just every picture of a person, if they request to get it taken down, it's going to get taken down. I don't know. Like if that's a world where you have to think about who you can post a picture of, I think people will just be like, fine, I won't use Twitter, Or does it turn into you can't just post a picture, you can't talk about people without their permission? Then I don't know. Probably that's a little too extreme. But I wonder what else they've got in the pipeline over at Twitter. I mean, this seems like it was a significant change to Twitter policy that was probably in the works before Jack Dorsey left, yesterday. But I'm kind of wondering now what other things are they going to put in there? Oh, by the way, they did post out the testimonies of the Fed chair and Powell. I don't know why I didn't hear anything when it happened. I haven't really heard much from Financial Juice today. I don't know if that's working correctly for me. No. It's because I heard when they posted the news. Back to 05. Oh, yeah. We don't want to miss that one. Where is it? Okay. Oh, yeah. We're in. They ate that one up. Okay. A little bit of a fall there in oil. That might not necessarily have been a huge deal, but this was a good 10 cents. Okay. Fighting for the fill in ZN. Yeah, that's good. Actually, so do I want to really be like trying to let this run long? That's tough. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to take it off. I'm going to take the last contract off too. I tell you what, though, that trade in the Treasury, pretty rare that it works out that well, don't you think? Yeah, Octavius took it all. They're kind of interesting. I wonder, should we have been back here being like, they're pretty. They came down pretty far here. That big order is still there. They're going to come back and get it. I think you might have been able to have made that kind of a. Because it was just an very unusual order. So, just because of the setup, we kind of had to wonder, I think, that they might come back for them, right? I think that the reason that the order book is a small edge is because there's so much competition for it. Okay, if you were able to guarantee that you were at the front of the queue every time, then it would be a massive edge. Like the best game in town, man, is trading the order book and being at the front of the queue. Okay, but there's competition, so there's only certain situations where we can really take advantage of it. And because of those kinds of strategies rely on taking lots of trades, right? So instead, what we do is we say, okay, we can't really play that game. But what we can do is we can take the information that we learned from that game and apply it to a different game. So really what we're doing is what I'm doing is I'm playing the speculator game, and I'm using what I know in order flow to help. But like this move in ES, there's nothing in the order flow that can tell you that's going to happen per se, you know? I only know that that's possible because I know what's going on. I know there's an Omicron variant and all this stuff, right? Yeah, Yellen is speaking. So I think that they're still going through their statements. Later, they will be asking them questions, and we might get some volatility in here. This is a kind of an odd situation. Oftentimes when we've had speakers, it's been something that like really sucks all the air out of the room, and everybody has to pay attention to it. But there's so much just trade going on today that it's not the only thing that matters. Yellen, I am confident that the United States recovery will continue to be strong. Okay, cool. Okay. So now all of them. It's kind of funny how in line oil and equities are with each other right now. So they're both revisiting kind of like the scene of the crime of that last big breakout. Oil, wow. What the what? Oh, we get Feds Williams now in 10 minutes? Yes. There will be a transcript. Well, will they be able to dig their way back out of that in oil? It looks like, well, it'll be close. But they're trying. Well, that helps. Treasury's still looking pretty easy. Where was that big order about at again? It was 6. So I could have held that for a little bit, huh? Oof. Well, I'm kind of watching oil here. I've been rooting for them. But that was a change. That was a change right there, man. I don't know. You really want to mess with that one now. So come here. And kind of in the chart, you can see it's been like mostly buying all the way through this. That was a really significant change. And then they come back to 40. Now here at 40, would be a fair area to see dip buying, but I'm a little concerned with the way that one just played out. It was really looking like a rejection of 68. You say memes are dead into it. I don't know. I'll go on social media I'm kind of disengaged from the oil thing now. I probably, maybe we should keep watching it. It does kind of look like they're going to try and buy the dip and everything, but geez, man, this is a little wild. This is a little too wild for me, man. Let's go to hot. Come on, there's got to be Twitter. Yeah, 65 is not bad. So kind of see, I think here pullback maybe 70. But I can't really predict where it's going to go. The S&P 500 coming back too. Action use chippy, that's for sure. I tell you what, in oil, you could be catching some pretty good trades in oil if you're willing to take on a lot of risk, but you're not really getting a runner today, are you? And those bear moves that you're getting over there, well, even in the S&P 500 too, that bear move in the S&P 500 wasn't very, very pretty either. I didn't see a headline when all that happened, but Cordray as Fed chair for supervision. I don't know I don't know that guy very well, so I'm not sure if that's significant or not. Back down to 50. So I kind of feel like taking a trade in oil, but I'm also feeling very discouraged by them fighting for 50 cents this whole time. Well, $1. Really, in the end, it ended up being $1. They fought for $1 this whole time, and it comes back 50% within, 2 minutes. A little discouraging action. And as much as I see, I'm gonna feel really awful if oil just takes off and tomorrow it's $70. But I kind of feel like I shouldn't be touching it. So I just keep the I got overnight money from oil. So 53, that pays for the data for the month, right? By the way, over here in the treasury, I think that the play definitely would have been lower rates. Like when it was raising, I was kind of like, okay, well, maybe I'm not interested in it. I should have stuck with it, and maybe I could have taken a short here in the micros. But if I had taken a short, $20, okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's certainly not as good as what's going on in oil, though, right? Oh man, you know what? That's probably why you shouldn't trade oil, is it'll just distort your perceptions of everything, huh? It sure looks fun, though, don't you think? Oh, that looks fun. No, it doesn't. It looks stressful as it looks stressful AF. That's what that is in oil. Stressful AF. Now I'm gonna twiddle my thumbs here for a bit. We got 30 minutes left. Hey, well, there's something interesting going on in the 10-year. Look at those big orders. Some more 4Ks. Okay, well, yeah, this one I'm a little more suspicious of. Okay, so for starters, one of those orders moved. They moved down when they started trading into it. Second of all, it's a little bit later in the day. So why? Yeah, they're again 1964. So we pulled again. Nah, I don't think. Like normally you see a big order, you'd be like, okay, I want to buy in ahead of it then, because they're not going to get through the order. But no, I think that's like a spoof. That's a spoof, and they're calling it out. Really, is what's going on there. Like, why not? Dang it, I missed it. Wouldn't have filled me anyways. It wouldn't have filled me anyways. I'll put some in there just for fun, but Powell's talking. Okay, well, maybe the market's reacting to Powell here because they're looking awfully bullish all of a sudden. All of them. Yellen said something about stable coins. Okay, so they're back to 80. So this is starting to look quite advantageous for oil, yeah? Man, yeah, I feel like it's just playing with my emotions, because it was not only 5 minutes ago that I was really disappointed in what oil was doing, right? Now it's like, get it wrong. Let's get it on. More stops up at 68.06. Come on, let's do it. Could be even more spectacular than last time, yeah? Well, we kept our S&P 500 trade, so let's go, man. This has got some velocity behind it. My, oh my. No, they're gonna take a little breather, I guess. Oh, that was also pretty. When they're moving up, it's gapping like it's going. Oil a little bit more than the S&P 500, but and then treasuries are coming back down fast too. Is this the one? Oh, I don't want to get my hopes up. I feel like this could be the one though, man. It could be like the stop run of all stop runs. I would love it. Please, please, please. Who can I plead to make that happen? Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi prince. I don't know what the correct term of respect that I'm supposed to use for you, but if you could get a stop run above 6806 for our entertainment, I would be eternally grateful. No, they're saying no. We're not going to give it to you, son. We're going to toy with you and going back and forth here, man. I don't think the treasury is going to come back. There's not big orders at 06 now, but there might be some fishy things going on here. Look, there's not a lot of latent liquidity there now in the treasury. You see that? They came up to 05.5. Both of them were pulled in the scene of the crime from before. So that's a little bit of a problem in the treasury. Oil and E-mini is still showing a little bit of promise that they might try and bust these highs, so we'll see. Powell says Fed's test for inflation has clearly been met. That's not gonna help your interest rates. You always know I'm in a poor mental situation when I'm basically cheerleading here. Come on, let's do it. Go, go, go. Yeah, that was okay. That was okay. You can do better than that. Keep going. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Oh, yeah, oil. Oh, oil. Oh, oil. Oh, man, them treasuries just dumped hard. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. They just dumped that so hard. I think that, well, Powell said something else there, but I'm seeing like all of on Twitter, Fed's inflation test has clearly been met, and the treasuries are just dumped. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh. Dude, I'm sitting over here waiting for the stop run in oil, and then the treasury's just British. Just a flood of... Oh, somebody said it's time to retire the transitory term. Fed's Powell, it's a good time to retire transitory for inflation. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's gonna bite. I'm I don't know if here is actually a good spot in the treasury. Man, when we had found that little hole up there, if we had just been, lucky enough to have decided to go long there, that would have been an amazing trade, right? You say short everything? Not necessarily. It did kind of hurt the ES, didn't it? Yeah. I came back at the best time possible. Seth having market chasms. That was really what happened there, huh? Okay. Well, it's a good question here now. No, I mean, oil is coming back, right? Do you just get a pullback here in oil, or you still want to be along? I don't know. Abort everything. Yeah. So here's the thing that I think is kind of funny is that I don't know if what Powell just said there was actually that significant. I mean, like, it's definitely going to cause short-term orders. We definitely want to take advantage of it if we can. I don't know if I can buy here in the micros at 54. I'm not sure that makes much sense to me. But, you know, in the longer run, I kind of feel like Omicron is a nothing burger. And okay, now they're kind of hinting at 54. Oil kind of popping back up here again. So at what point were we like, oh no, oil? Okay, 93. Okay, so like here in oil, they're forming a range. So I can't really say. The treasuries are retracing some of that move. Oh, this could be you can't. We're just gonna let's see what happens, I guess. You can tell how badly I just want to trade, right? Like, it's just moving so much. It is really quite a sensory overload, especially this oil, because I would not mind getting a swing in oil, but I don't know, man. Now, oil may be dealing, yeah, okay, so the dollar got a lot stronger there, so that's part of what's going on. I have to say, you know, just watching oil today and yesterday there was such insane trends, and so I've kind of been like waiting and being cautious about those insane trends, but it hasn't really done that today, has it? It's been pretty back and forth, you know, like a solid trend in one direction, but still very back and forth. Well, and you know, another thing is I did say, well, you know, the Fed speakers might not be the biggest deal in the world. Kind of depends on what they say, but he said, I think he said the right thing to really roil the market. Although it should I admit that they're retracing a lot of this, especially in the 10 and the 30, right? Skin was oh, okay, well that's like way up there though. The amount it moved was so crazy. Oh my gosh. What were the rates? The rates didn't move that much. That's kind of weird. Robinhood and others win dismissal of meme stock short squeeze lawsuit. Yeah, that's because you were wrong about everything. That's okay. I would like to see them stick it to the man, but GameStop is not it. On ES, it was 4 points overshoots. Well, like we were at 40 and now we're at 28. Yeah, 12 points decline in ES. This is not actually that big of a deal. But the dollar moved, right? So. They're very much flattened, by the way, in the treasuries. It very, very much flattened. Actually, we're going to need to come back and look at the volume. Where's the volume profile? There it is. Volume profile in the 30-year bond. How flat is it? And back to where it was. Well, okay. So the yield curve's still kind of being like, I'm not sure what I can make out of the yield curve yet. If this flattening continues, though, whew. Oh, you know what? If we had been in these 5 year, that would have been like, but there is no way there's no way that I would have gone long rates. No way. Would it? That if you went long rates and you made money off of that, I'm guessing you're probably lucky, but like, come on. Well, there's a pretty good little bear move in oil, and they held it. So, like this 80-90 area seems okay. And here in the 10-year, I don't know. I don't know, man. They look poised for another move there. Well, we got to be careful. I like oil could still. Oh, there you go. Like, look at that. Look at that. Stop running oil. Well, so I'm not really looking at the volume profile so much, Kyle, as I am trying to figure out what the spread is doing. And I want to see a larger term view of where was the spread relative to previous days to see if they're actually making a meaningful move. See, they're starting to get into a meaningful move of flattening. So that's why I keep looking back over at it. But I'm still not going in and saying like, well, I don't know, like we could have done this in oil yesterday. Okay, yesterday's previous point of control was 73. We saw a buy. They weren't able to get to 73. So now at 71, I want to sell. No. Sorry, no, those don't necessarily work. I mean, that trade would have worked yesterday, but when you kind of like program those out, I can't get those to work at least. Isn't it interesting? Like when it really puts it in perspective here in oil, right? Like, what a difficult move, slog, just trying to get back up to 68. And then, but that's still like below where everything has been. So either this thing is going to trend lower or there's going to be a massive breakout somewhere up in here. Powell is talking hawkish here to Congress, but it's really, I mean, it's kind of weird because yesterday he said things that were kind of dovish, right? But it's like he knows that the politicians are concerned. I'm sorry, we need to come back over here. He knows the politicians are concerned about the inflation, and so he's playing to the audience, maybe? I kind of feel like that's maybe what's going on. I don't know. Man. It's kind of I don't know. They're going further. I was still looking at 54, right? Oh, mama. Oh, okay. That's actually a little bit of a retrace. And here we are in oil, back to 67.50 again. 10 minutes. Now I'm really like, Seth, don't touch it. Maybe if I want to do something with oil, I wait until late in the day and try and trade the overnight gap again. Fed's Powell, we expect a high amount of inflation through the middle of next year. Yeah, Powell simply doesn't like the actual world transitory due to how it's been misrepresented, and can't blame him either. Yeah, I agree too. OPEC, why don't you sell some oil volatility? Right. Oh, maybe that's the move to make, man. Where's Rich? Hey, Rich, what do you think about selling oil puts? So go sell oil puts right now. That's the move I think he would be making. It seems like a good one, actually. I mean, the volatility is high. And I really do think that they're going to move back up at some point. Clearly not right now, though. Oh, look, we have to scratch our trade. Come on. Okay. You know what? That trade in ES was great, but it did not reach our target at 46.50. Here's where, yeah, you can try and kind of trail it, but I don't know what the best strategy is to do that. Every time that I try and backtest like a trailing stop sort of a thing, it doesn't work. Selling oil put spreads? Okay, sure. Like, it could be like, sell a put spread. Yeah. Because we don't want, like, unlimited downside, right? I mean, oil is kind of looking like they're going to play this range again, and that they're going to go and try and break the high again. But given what the S&P 500 is doing, well, let's just keep in mind, if we come back over here to our volume profile chart, there in the 10-year, we are retracing the overnight move from, the Omicron virus. So what is this move in treasuries? All of these idiots that thought that the Omicron virus meant that the Federal Reserve is going to be easier are getting screwed over here. That's what that's going on. And you know what? Serves you right. It serves you right. Oh, what a minute. Okay, I really should have bought the 50, right? It's too late now, man. Or wasn't 50, it was 45. 1.45 in the 10-year. This is just, I don't know, man. Am I sad because I missed the move in the treasury? Or am I sad because I know that people are losing a ton of money here on this? Look at it go, man. It's not stopping. Are you going to get to 1.5? Yes, 1.5. That was a $50 trade in treasuries there. Well, that was a big pullback. Hold on. So that's one where now they did find some support at the opening price. So they could go further down through that, but I don't know. Stay out if you don't want to die. Oil was looking promising there, but now they've pushed back lower. So I think that we made the right decision not touching it. I shouldn't complain because I did make I have been secretly taking oil trades and I made $73. So I shouldn't complain, but it was my thing over here in the treasury. I should have just taken it. Oh, yeah. So he's saying that Omicron is a risk, but that it's not baked into forecasts, which is exactly what I would. Okay. By the way, this is bouncing really hard now in the 10-year. And the oil is just getting creamed. Oil is just getting creamed here. And the dollar, when you pull the dollar up here, the dollar up to 96.33. Oh my. This is just zany. I can't even, you know what? So I've very clearly had a hard time today with my emotions, haven't I? And to come out of after all of that, I think I was able to keep myself under control enough to pull something out of this. Luckily enough. I think when I heard that headline with Powell, like the thing is that these markets did not react to it immediately after the first thing that he said. I very much could have said, oh, this is just going to run. And I think that it was just because of my emotions. There was so much uncertainty in the market because of my emotion that it did not dawn on me that, oh, they're going to sell TF out of treasuries now because he is basically saying, nah, Omicron isn't really, it's a risk, but we're not really changing anything yet. Right? That should, I should have been stocking that rise in rates somewhere, could have caught it. But so clearly there's more work to be done, but progress. How can we stay on top of that a little bit better next time? Well, I think that one of the issues that I'm having now that we're going to have to work on is that because I'm looking at so many different assets now, I would prefer to be trading in the treasury, but I'm going to need to keep an eye on other assets and take them. And sometimes I'll come in and I'll say, oh yeah, now I want to trade oil, and I forget about the treasury. But I need to keep myself more flexible. That's going to be hard. That's going to take practice. So that's a really big change. But with all these micros now, I'm really starting to feel, and the success that I've had in oil today, although I would say it's super hard and I don't like trading it. I should start working on that. Yeah. So is oil going to break new lows of the day? Because that's looking a little ugly. I mean, 67 again, kind of a spot where it might be worth trying to take a long, but oh man, I don't know about that one, man. Chairman Powell, most forecasters, including at the Fed, continue to expect that inflation will move down significantly over the next year as supply and demand imbalances abate. So, News Squawk summarizes, transitory, retired, appropriate to discuss taper faster. Omicron not baked into forecasts. Worth remembering that many were expecting Powell to sound dovish today in spite the hawkish testimony. Yes, sir. Powell came in there and just demolished Treasury bears in a fashion of which I'm not sure I've ever seen before. I think we've seen larger moves in the treasuries before, yeah. But that was some ride. And it was kind of funny that it started slowly, yeah. Everybody on Twitter, somebody ball gag Powell, please. I just laugh. I can't help but just laugh at him, man. Hey, 67's not doing too bad. What do you think, 67? Nah, you know what? We gotta end the stream, guys. Zany day. I don't even know what to put for a title. Powell decimates markets with hawkish testimony. You need to focus on treasury, but have triggers to watch other instruments. Well, but what do I do when I come in and I say, well, it's the other way around, right? Like today it was like, I want to keep an eye on oil and see how, because I think that's where the opportunity is. And then I needed to keep an eye on oil, on treasuries. Well, here in this one, I really underestimated the chances that Powell's testimony would move the markets, right? I didn't think that he was going to say anything significant. So I think I unknowingly made a speculation there that I probably shouldn't have, right? But it didn't end up in a trade. I didn't lose money off of it, but still, you know, there's things there with that. Anyways, guys, I gotta go. I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.